Cloudcast Media.
Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, and we are so pleased to have in the studio with us today an author, a lawyer, and a mediator, and probably everything in between. And a fellow neighbor I just found out up in the west side of Los Angeles, even though I moved out of there quite a while ago. Tim Reuben, author of Tequila, A Story of Success, Love, and Violence. He's the founder of Reuben. Is it Rocher?
No, it's Rauscher.
Rauscher. Okay, sorry. I tried to throw the French thing in there. Rauscher and Bloom law firm and of Reuben Mediation. Tim, welcome. Thank you for coming down. Appreciate it.
Well, it's delightful to be with you. Wonderful down here. And of course, love San Diego. Right now, I'm in the process of building a house down here. So
where?
Oh, in Coronado. I love Coronado.
Oh my goodness! So Brentwood, Coronado. Oh man, those are two grand slams right over here.
Good places.
Are you planning on keeping the house up in Brentwood?
Well, that is a debate with my wife. I'm telling you, she's going to end up making that decision.
Right, as usual. Right, those are what happens, right?
That's exactly what happens. It is life, and it makes life better.
100%. Joined by my business partner and the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi. Charles, why are you so interested in law?
Well, I happen to have a daughter that has joined that lovely profession. She's a second-year associate at one of those fancy fancy global law firms.
Right, and she went to school at?
She went to Duke Law.
That's right. Where'd you go to school, Tim?
I went to Harvard Law School.
Okay, very, very good. And
that's a really good school, I hear.
That's right. Yeah, Harvard. I think I heard of that.
I haven't heard of it. No.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Joined by my colleague, Ian Solomon. He's a senior at San Diego State in leadership studies, and he's been co-hosting for a while. And we are both SDSU. He's soon to be an SDSU grad, and I got my undergrad and master's there. But let me just start off with this. How long have you been lawyering?
Oh, boy. That's been a long time. I graduated all the way back in 1980, so I've been practicing here in California nonstop since 1980, and I'm a litigator. I'm a trial lawyer.
Oh, okay, I was going to ask. Okay.
So I've been doing that all over the state of California, and in fact, in other states as well. It's been a great career for me, and I've enjoyed it tremendously. I certainly hope your daughter enjoys it. She's got to go in the right directions. It's a crazy practice, let me tell you, and hard, but rewarding.
Well, Tim, she's just beginning her second year as an associate. So my guess is you kind of know what her first year was like.
I do. It's a big mountain to climb. That is the truth I tell all young people that I interview. The first couple of years, you're just climbing Mount Everest. It's a big deal. You're trying to learn and get your feet set and figure it all out. It takes a while, and it's tough. But climbing mountains is something I like to do, and that's probably why I decided to write a novel.
I was going to say, and of course, your daughter's going to Tulane. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. She's in Tulane. She loves it. New Orleans is such a wonderful place. I love it there, too. So I'm very proud of her. And I actually have 4 kids, but she's the youngest. She's the last. So now I'm an empty nester. Woohoo.
Let me tell you something. They sometimes come back. And as I know, and it's all a good thing. It's all a good thing. My daughter's a 4th grade teacher in the Poway School District. And her and her fiance now are back in the house, going to save some money to put money down on a house. And I think that's great.
Well, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
They take advantage of the parents. And
exactly.
That's okay with us. I mean, right now my daughter from Tulane is back at the house. In fact, enjoying a long sleep.
Well, yeah, that's going to be stuff. Ian, you got a question for Tim?
Yeah, I was wondering so obviously you have this new book coming out. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about it.
I'll be happy to. So Tequila is not a book about the alcohol.
Okay.
It is about a family called the Ramirez family in my book, and a saga that goes 3 generations where they built a multi-billion-dollar company with international reach and made lots of money. But of course, there's lots of internal strife. If you go to such shows as Succession, or if you're older, you might go back to Dallas. Those kinds of shows are very similar to what Tequila is. Tequila is sometimes called Succession meets Narcos, because the difference is that, of course, they have to grow and develop the tequila in Mexico. And so to do so, they have to interact with and deal with some of the sources, some of the issues there which are caused by the criminal element. That's why it is not just a story of success and love, lots of love there, but there is violence, because that is the nature of the development of their company. And then ultimately in modern day, when the three siblings are struggling for control and position in the company, some very bad things do happen. And it is a fun story, by the way. It's intended to be a fun story, but fast reading and a legal thriller.
Well, I'm so excited, Ian. He had me at Succession.
I know, me too.
And by the way,
It's a great show.
I love a great legal thriller. I'm so excited to hear about this.
Well, thanks. The protagonist, the lawyer, as it were, is Brian Youngman, and he's an LA lawyer. And in this book, he's a divorce lawyer, and he represents one of the spouses of the Ramirez family in a divorce. And of course, divorces can be quite nasty, as you might imagine. This one turned nasty to an nth degree, atypically. But Brian Youngman then gets very involved in all kinds of things. And the thing about Tequila is we move fast. We move from time to time, and we move all over the world. I mean, it's in Mexico, it's in Scotland, it's in England, it's everywhere you can imagine, all over the Caribbean, New York, Miami, LA, Houston. We like to move around in Tequila, and that's what is part of what I think makes it a lot of fun. Moving to different places and locations, and all kinds of things happen in those different locations as Brian Youngman gets more involved in the challenges of the fight in the family.
We're chatting with Tim Reuben. He's an author of Tequila, A Story of Success, Love, and Violence. He's the founder of Reuben, Rocher, and a Bloom law firm, also Reuben Mediation. This is your first book, correct?
Well, my first novel. Yes,
Oh, okay,
absolutely. I should say I've published a lot of legal stuff, you know, those articles about cases and statutes and things like that, but they're kind of boring for anyone who's not a lawyer interested in that particular topic. This I tried to make interesting to everyone, fun for everyone.
No, I think that's great. I'm Drew Schlosberg at Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in our community. Ian?
So I'm fascinated by this. First of all, like, I had so many questions about it. Like, first of all, have you always wanted to write a novel, and how long has that idea been in your head? And then on top of that, like, once you had the idea of doing it, how long until you actually just went for it and decided to just start going for it?
Well, all good questions. The truth is, I was doing creative writing all the way back in high school and publishing little short stories, that kind of thing. And then, of course, college and law school happened, and I got out into my career. One of the things I discovered about law, and I think about most things, is to be any good at it, you have to give yourself to it. So I gave myself completely, put creative writing aside, and worked really hard to be the best lawyer I could be. Well, then children happened, and when children happen, that takes an awful lot of time if you're trying to be a good dad. I was one of those guys who was coaching soccer and baseball and basketball, and I had 4, so I coached all of them. They took a lot of time, and I loved it, by the way. It was the best time. And so I just didn't have time to do anything other than practice law and try to be a decent father and husband. So guess what? The kids grew up. I suddenly had some time, and I had been wanting and planning and promising myself that I would write a novel at some point because it was a mountain I had to climb. And so finally, I sat down and did it, and it took about a year to do it. The idea was a combination of all kinds of experiences as a lawyer, because when you're a lawyer, you deal with all kinds of circumstances, all kinds of people, all kinds of fact patterns. And I just melded different experiences together to try to create characters that were believable and interesting, and try to create fact scenarios that meshed different cases of many years of practice together. So that's what you'll find in Tequila. It's a mishmash. It's all fictional, but it's based on lawyering. And I have to say, probably it was great that I had all that experience because I had a lot to draw on.
Sure.
I was not young when I did Tequila. I was older and with more experience to work with.
No question, Charles.
Tim, I love big bang moments. I like thinking about them, and I like to take our audience back there. Can you share with us, to the best of your memory, the day you wrote the first word or put your fingers on the keyboard for the first time? Take us back to that moment, what it felt like. What were you? Where were you? What were you wearing? What was everything you can remember about it?
First of all, what were you drinking?
Well, that's a really good point. So I want you to know that I'm an equal opportunity drinker, but I drink with a degree of care. And ironically, what I found is that I could write Tequila during cocktail hour. I mean, I would work all day. I'd come home, and instead of having a cocktail or two, I sat down at the typewriter and I would write Tequila. And I said typewriter, which already ages me because, of course, it was a computer. And I found that that was a great way to organize the time period that I needed to do the work, because I was busy also doing the other work, as I said. And it was fun. And I found it more and more fun because what I discovered was you have to research things. Google is marvelous. You go on the web and you find out all kinds of things that you didn't know when you're writing a book. Things that made it kind of fun to write because it was continual learning. And I love to learn and grow. So the process of writing was actually quite fun and exciting. And in answer to your question about the moment, I wrote what is the prologue first. And I didn't know if I could. So it was not a big bang moment so much as it going, geez, can I actually do this? Uncertainty. And of course, I gave it to one of my kids to read.
The Tulane student?
Yeah, the Tulane student.
Okay.
And she went through it critically, and I thought, oh, this is great because a different perspective, right? And she gave me lots of good suggestions. So I thank my daughter, Becca, for her help, my wife, Stephanie, for her help. They helped me get through this thing. And the irony is, it was much harder to get it published than to write it. And that part was no fun.
I bet not. Charles?
Yeah, I noticed that in fact, it's a great segue, Tim, because I was going to ask you, Drew loves having authors on the show, and we always hear about that journey, that challenge, that mountain to climb in terms of getting a publisher. And I noticed that your publisher is from one of my favorite parts of the world, Fairfield County, Connecticut, Westport. How did you find your way to Meridian and Westport, Connecticut?
By the way, the people at Meridian are terrific. They helped me enormously. They gave me a good editor. I mean, I can't say enough about them. They're terrific people, and I appreciate them. But I didn't get to them right away. What I did was I went and put my book in for copyright because I registered it as a copyright. It registered it for copyright because I'm a lawyer, and that's the way I think. And it was unnecessary, in fact, but it was what happened. And then I got solicited by people that would characterize themselves as vanity publishers. And I worked with them for a while, and I found that they were not very good. They weren't helpful. They weren't prompt. They didn't respond well. They couldn't edit well. So I had to search around. Unfortunately, I thank again my wife, who is wonderful, found the people at Meridian and connected me, and that really made all the difference in the world. But it took me 6 months to even find the good published.
When we come back from break, I want to continue that conversation. Want to talk about Coronado. It's certainly what you're doing over there. I know Charles has a zillion other questions he wants to ask of his lawyer daughter, Ava, who's just an absolute delight in this area. I know Ian's head is spinning over here. We told you there was only a 27-minute interview. It's going to go an hour and 37 minutes. Unfortunately, we can't do that because of other folks that are coming on. We return with Tim Reuben, author of Tequila, A Story of Success, Love, and Violence. He's the founder of Reuben Rocher and Bloom Law Firm and Reuben Mediation. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back after this short break.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media, listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast in our 20th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of doing great things in San Diego County. So honored to have in the studio with us today Tim Reuben, author of Tequila, A Story of Success, Love, and Violence. He's the founder of Reuben Rocher and Bloom Law Firm and Reuben Mediation, joined by my colleague and business partner. He's the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi, and our co-host now for his third time doing it, Ian Solomon from San Diego State, Leadership Studies major. Before we get to Coronado, Charles has a question for you.
So the character Brian Youngman, so I'm sure you shared in the book which law school he attended.
Yes, I did.
Let me guess, Harvard.
No.
Oh.
No.
UCLA.
No. He went to
Duke.
Berkeley.
Oh, he went to Berkeley.
He went to, was that Bolt?
It used to be Bolt. I think that they changed the name of the law school. I'm no expert there, but one of my partners did go to Bolt at the time.
Right.
Now they call it Berkeley, as I understand.
Was that the reason what was the reason for choosing Berkeley?
Well, I wanted him to be California-based, first of all. Okay. So, and I didn't want him to be in one of the Southern California schools in my plan. So I put him in Northern California, and then I had to pick between Berkeley and Stanford. And
right.
The character of Brian Youngman, when he gets out of law school, he becomes a district attorney. That's his backstory. He had the opportunity to go to big law firms and make a lot of money and work really hard in the library and have no life. But he decided he wanted to do good in the world, but his good in the world was be a district attorney because he didn't see himself as representing people accused of crimes. That's a lot about who he is. So he spent years in the district attorney's office, and that is more consistent with a Berkeley law student, in my view, than a Stanford law student. Not to suggest that Stanford kids wouldn't go to the DA's office.
Ian?
Yeah, so you talk about like developing this character and like having all these thoughts about what's in like his path, but how much of this was like talking about the writing and creative process? How much of this was developed before, and then how much of it are you, as you're writing, you're kind of coming up with more of his backstory?
Well, the answer is both. I mean, the truth is you have an idea, you put it together in your head, and I think with characters you have to have their backstory, even though you're not sharing it all in the book, or you share pieces of it along the way. You have to have an idea as to who these people are. And then it is true, the irony, and I found this to be the case when I'm writing, is that suddenly I couldn't type quickly enough. And I'm not a very good typer anyway, because the truth is the story starts writing itself. And then you start thinking, well, this character would do this, it wouldn't do that. So you suddenly make a left turn because you've created a character who is becoming more and more alive to you. That's exciting, by the way. So suddenly you become in love with your characters, or you hate them. I mean, there are hateable characters. There is evil in Tequila. And I'm a big believer in good versus evil. As I say, again, I will date myself. As a child, I saw Flash Gordon, and I saw Flash Gordon, the good guy, and Ming the Merciless, the bad guy. What a wonderful name, Ming the Merciless. And I thought, that's the way I wanted to write. There's no doubt about who the bad guys are in Tequila, and you will not like them. But there's no doubt about the good guys either.
How do you get the book? Where's the book? Everywhere, Amazon, Barnes & Noble.
Oh, yes. Amazon, obviously, you can get it, or you can go on my website, timreuben.com. But you have to spell Reuben right, R-E-U-B-E.
Not R-U-B-E-N,
No,
R-E-U.
Like the sandwich is what I always say. I wish I had a nickel for everyone sold.
Right, exactly. So talk a little bit about Coronado. You mentioned, is it Coronado in the book?
Not in this book.
Okay, got it. It's in your life now.
It's very much in my life, and I do have the prequel that I've done the draft of, so it's actually being edited now.
Okay.
And then there's a sequel as well that is on the drawing board.
Trifecta.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, we love Coronado. We've been coming down there for ages. And, there's like little parade there over the holidays. It's just a wonderful family environment.
Oh, yeah. Know it well.
So we ended up, when the fire happened, that destroyed the Pacific Palisades very recently. It's a horrible event.
That's where I went to high school.
Oh, so traumatic. And I was sitting in my office. I watched from where in my office I could watch the fire expand.
And then, of course, and again, Tim and I were chatting about this. He literally, lives where a stone's throw from where I grew up at 405 and Sunset, if anyone knows where that is. And of course, the Getty Museum, you could see from the Getty Museum into my backyard. And of course, they had enough fires up in that area. You probably had to be evacuated.
We were evacuated. I mean, by the way, I have a view of the Getty directly from our house.
Of course.
So we really did grow up in the same place.
We probably went to exactly. But Coronado, you've been coming down for quite a while?
Yes, and what we did was when we were evacuated, we came down to Coronado, and that's where we spent for a few weeks because before we could go back to our home. And my wife, because she's very industrious, she looked and looked and looked and looked. And I think she found, I know she found a place that we could build on there, which is hard to do, but she is not going to be stopped when she decides to do something. So we ended up, because we had such a lovely time there, we thought, well, let's maybe just build down here. We keep coming down here.
Man, good for you.
Let's try and make a home for ourselves.
Is it near the hotel?
Pardon?
Is it near the hotel?
It is very near the hotel.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, with all due respect to La Jolla Del Mar Rancho Santa Fe, I think there is no finer place in San Diego than Coronado.
I agree.
Hands down.
I agree with you 100% for 75 different reasons. The thing, amazing, and Charles knows this. I was fortunate enough to, go out with someone for quite a while, many, many years that lived down there. And what amazed me was how close Coronado is to everything. You think, oh my God, Coronado is going to take me 4 million hours to get there. It's just 4 minutes over the freeway, and now you're downtown. For God's sake, right?
Absolutely, and you rip back over the bridge like we go to a baseball game.
Exactly.
You go right over there, the bridge. You're right there at Petco Park.
100%. And downtown, and of course with all the hotels and all that. That is very exciting. Do you have a date when it's supposed to be all finished, or is it sometime in this century?
Well, Well, it's not going to be next year. It's going to be the year after. It's an 18 to 20 month.
That's okay. Just get yourself an RV and put it on your property.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do.
Yeah.
Actually.
Is there somewhere in the blueprints? Is there a place for you to write? There's got to be.
Oh, of course. We did make offices for ourselves. When you build a house, you have a room that's an office convertible to a guest room, right? That's exactly what we did because we're hoping people visit us.
Yeah. Listen, I got one quick question here. I mean, listen, Tim, we can talk to you for hours on this. Just fascinating by it. Did your background as a lawyer, or maybe just your personality, make it easier for you to take criticism from your editors? Where if you have thin skin, you're in the wrong business being a writer.
When you're in the wrong business being a lawyer. I mean, I always say that to people who are involved in litigation. You have to determine whether you are the kind of person who can deal with the punches that you'll get. And
the recalcitrant judges that don't know what they're doing, right?
You get it from judges, from opposing parties, and even from your own clients, sometimes from your partners. And let me tell you something. It's funny that you say that, the editing thing. I still remember learning very early as a young lawyer that other people are going to edit my stuff. And although I think, my stuff is great. Wait, they made it better, much better. I was wrong to begin with. So you learn humility. Humility is important.
So Charles has heard this story. I'm not sure. Yeah, Ian, you might have heard that. Matter of fact, I might have mentioned this to you in your media class. So I got my degree in journalism. Was a sports writer before I went over to the dark side of the newspaper business and ran community and public relations, but for the major newspaper in town, the Union Tribune. But I remember my first assignment at San Diego State. I had a professor, crew cut, came from University of Iowa, was a tough guy, F-. Have you ever written before, Drew? Okay. And I absolutely, my head exploded. And how dare you sit there? What are you talking about? I mean, I've done this and this and this and that. And of course, he was right. Turned out to be my most, favorite professor and all this. I should have saved the paper. F- have you ever written before? And then became one of my favorite professors. But you learn very quickly. I think I got to get my skin a little thicker on this aspect of it. So I just asked that. Charles, you got a quick question?
Real quick, but first of all, I'm really excited. I'm a big fan of the whole Grisham series of legal thrillers and Mitch McDeere and all those great characters and The Firm. I used to tease my daughter, when you go to work for Big Law, make sure you don't choose The Firm. So I'm looking forward to meeting Brian Youngman and Maria Ramirez. And if Tim, if you're ever up for a little fun, I'd love to bring Maria Ramirez to life on our CEO show. We have a podcast. Let's bring her to life as a character on a podcast episode where we'll interview her as the CEO of this global tequila company. What do you think?
I think that's brilliant. She's a magnificent
We'll find a local actress who plays the part of Maria, and we'll put her on CEO.
That's a great idea, because the host of CEO is the mayor of San Marcos, believe it or not. And so, and she probably is like a Ramirez, I bet. Rebecca Jones.
Will have fun with this. We won't tell the audience.
No, of course not. No. It's going to be...
Maria will be appearing from the novel.
That's right. Unless someone's listening to the Spotlight Show and they'll know, I think I heard this on the Spotlight Show. Tim, what an absolute delight meeting you. This will not be the last time you and I will get together and break some bread and some tequila and all that, probably to your detriment. Wishing your daughter nothing but great success in Tulane. And I look forward to having you back on at CEO.
Well, thank you so much. It's been delightful to be here and a pleasure to talk to all of you. Very intelligent people you have here.
Obviously, you're not talking about us three, but that's okay. I appreciate that. Tim Reuben, author of Tequila, A Story of Success, Love, and Violence. You can get that at Amazon. I'm Drew Schlosberg, joined by my business partner and the CEO and founder of Cloudcast Media, Charles Parisi, and co-host Ian Solomon, senior at San Diego State in Leadership Studies. And to our audience, we hope you enjoyed the interview.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.